Alright, hello everyone, it's Happy, and today we're going to be talking about whether or not the IS-4 has become obsolete in comparison to that of the IS-7. Now, I haven't been seeing that many IS-4s in randoms, neither have I been seeing them in tournaments. Now, this is a big red flag because the IS-7 did receive an HD model, and with it, a tiny armor buff. Well, not really tiny, it's a major armor buff, and it puts it miles ahead of the IS-4 in terms of armor. And penetrating the IS-7 in a heavy tank at tier 10 is very hard, and you really need to get used to it. Even the sides are super troll, and therefore I think the IS-4 has become obsolete in terms of armor. Now, the gun can still be better, especially with that 340 heat pen, and the overall DPM is a tiny bit better, and the gun is more comfortable. However, the IS-7 still has the alpha advantage, as well as the mobility advantage. So it still has the big juicy alpha at 460. On top of that, it is a very fast heavy tank. It's one of the fastest heavy tanks at tier 10. And on top of that, it has insane armor on the turret. The sides are very strong, much stronger than that on the IS-4. And even the front is super troll. And therefore, the IS-4 does lag behind a bit, especially since, again, the IS-7 received a buff, while the IS-4 received a nerf to take it out of the tournaments. So that's why you virtually won't really see IS-4s in tournaments anymore, and the IS-7 has fully replaced it. The only downside of the IS-7 is probably the APCR penetration, and that's the only downside in my opinion. Everything else is amazing about the tank, and it's great for newer players because it really will forgive a lot of your mistakes. This battle is a great example to that. As you can see here, the IS-7 is in a 1 versus 4 situation, and no other tank in the game could have done this. Not even the IS-4, not a single tank. An AMX-50B in this situation would have died already. A mouse, an E100 wouldn't be flexible enough, and so the IS-7 is the Superman of WOT Blitz, in my opinion. It has a strong punch, it's got insane armor, and it's super fast, and it's good in every single position, apart from obviously going hull down because of the bad gun depression. But apart from that, it really has everything you need, and in most situations, it's going to perform amazingly well. Again, it's a 1 versus 4, and you have a bunch of tanks against it. And as you can see, tanks are shooting it from the side, from the front, from the back, whatever it is, and everyone is going to make mistakes and not penetrate this thing. The older IS-7 wouldn't have been able to do this. However, the IS-7 did receive the HD model, so we only have to wait and see what the IS-4 is going to look like when the HD model does get redone. So here again, the IS-7 already took out 2 tanks, and now it's chasing after the medium. And again, the enemy is just making mistakes, but the IS-7 as well. It's just moving around as if there is no tomorrow. And as you can see here, no one is, really doing anything against it apart from the enemy IS-7, who is shooting the back of the tank. So boom, the enemy medium is gone. So it went from a 1 versus 4 to a 1 versus 1. And here again, the IS-7 on the enemy team doesn't really have the gun depression. And so our IS-7 is pretty much going to eat him up alive. As you can see, the IS-7 cannot penetrate the upper plate or the upper side of the IS-7. And so boom, it really can't do anything. The turret is rock solid. It's probably one of the best turrets in the game. And for all of these reasons, I think the IS-4 just became obsolete because it doesn't have a place in randoms or tournaments anymore. It has been fully replaced. And so I think the developers need to make a way, or at least think of a way, that they can buff the IS-4 in a tiny or slight way in which it could give a different type of gameplay. Because we don't really want a, 2 IS-7s or 2 IS-4s. We want an IS-7 and an IS-4. Each of these should have a different role and a different gameplay, a different playstyle to be, interesting for the players. Again, peeks out with the front of his tank and the enemy just doesn't penetrate him, This is the IS-7, and this is the main reason as to why the IS-4 is pretty much obsolete. So with that, Happy is out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.